It's tax season, and at LifeLock, we know you're tired of numbers. But here's a big one you need to hear. Billions. That's the amount of money in refunds the IRS has flagged for possible identity fraud. Now here's another big number. 100 million. That's how many data points LifeLock monitors every second. If your identity is stolen, we'll fix it guaranteed. One last big number. Save up to 40% your first year. Visit LifeLock.com/podcast for the threats you can't control. Terms apply.
Rated mature audiences only. Viewer discretion is advised.
Ladies and gentlemen, may I have your attention, please? It's time for the final countdown. The show starts in 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Let's rock.
Broadcasting from the Big Peach of Atlanta, Georgia. A show unfiltered, unscripted, raw. The Patriot Angle Podcast.
Alrighty, guys. Welcome to tonight's show. Welcome, guys. Welcome to the Patriot Angle Podcast. Welcome, guys. Joining me to the left, to the right, depending on how you view the screen, is Vanessa. How are you, Vanessa? How's everything going?
It's going great. Thank you so much for the invitation.
Oh, it's an honor to have you. I know we've been trying to get you on the show for quite some time now, but you know, I understand people get busy today, and crazy society that we live in America.
Absolutely.
So, yeah. So welcome to the show. Welcome. As you can see, we do like to play around with backdrops here on the visual green screen behind me. I like kind of messing it up a little bit. I do it on purpose to engage the audience. You know what I mean? So.
I apologize for just the regular background of my house.
Oh, you're fine. You're fine. We understand. I hope you like the actual digital backdrop for the studio. We just literally finished this through Photo Room, which is a production company outside of Atlanta, Georgia here. So phenomenal work on the graphics here on the show. I think it looks great. We plugged it in last night on the very first video podcast on Rumble, which I'm told is doing wonders.
Right. I'm on Rumble.
You are, yeah. So what a difference I'm seeing, with the content you're allowed to express on Rumble versus YouTube.
It's they do censor some. But predominantly, it's pretty much, what you want to say. You can get it through there.
Right. And Vanessa, if you may, I'd like to introduce the audience to you. You haven't been on the show. Sometimes I have repeat guests, and repeat people on the show, so they've gotten acquainted with who they are. If you could explain to the audience here, just who you are and what you like to do, your passions. Maybe you want to plug in some personal information with a business or whatever, so the floor is yours, Vanessa.
Well, thank you so much. Well, I guess my passion would be my music here locally where I live in East Tennessee. I've been in several bands. I've been in music for, I guess, about 54 years.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. I started out in church like so many did. But about 17 years ago, I happened to, please don't judge me, I happened to run across Alex Jones on YouTube. And it was completely random. I wasn't looking for anything in particular, but through that, I started investigating things that our government was telling us to be
Sure.
fact. And that mission that I went on for many years, it just led to, I guess, one door. And I hate this, oh, let's go down the rabbit hole. No, that's not what people are doing. They're trying to find the facts. They're just, that's, I think that's not, no, I hate that phrase, because they're really just searching for the truth. And so that's kind of how I got into this. I'm very, I guess I'm kind of legalistic. And this is not, I hate to bring politics into this, but when Obama became a candidate, I did start questioning if he was really a citizen. And it wasn't because, I didn't know who he was, but I was just looking at the facts and said, you've got to be born in the United States, you got to be 35 years old, just the basic things. Okay.
There was a lot of questionability about that when that came up. I do. Yeah. I can understand what your views were on that. As I have questioned that many times. If he was actually born in the United States. There's a lot of questions, even going back to the Trump administration, where Trump was like, you want me to show you my taxes? Well, you show us your birth certificate,
Yeah, that's true. And I kind of got involved in that. I wrote several letters to my congressman, and it didn't go anywhere. But I was just. And it wasn't because of who he was or what his skin color was. I mean, to me, that made no difference. If it had been a white person, Latino person, whatever, I just was wondering where he was really born. That's all.
Right. It sounds like you what your passion for music and everything. You also have a passion for political viewpoints. It almost sounds like you could be considered as a conservative advocate, for conservatism in America, which I think is great. We need more. Not only do we need more men in that, we have plenty of men, but we need more women to show their voice. The silent majority needs to be heard.
I have in the past. I have I had a special needs child. Sadly, he passed away in 2014.
I'm sorry to hear
that. But he was vaccine injured. And of course, your listeners, your viewers may say, well, she's biased against vaccines because of that. However, I suffered a serious illness from the MMR when I was a child called Guillain-Barré syndrome. So and I survived that, even though it was 1970 and there was very limited medical intervention that could be done for me. But I was in intensive care for 8 days and almost died because of what they said at the time was a bad batch of MMR vaccine. So because I was about 25 years old and very impressionable, even after that, they said my son could not go to school unless he got the MMR. And somehow, unfortunately, I was young and impressionable mother, and I got him the MMR. And I have the time-stamped home movies to prove that my child went into severe regression after the MMR.
And, are you trying to put up with that with the legal battle? I mean, what's going on with that?
I was never able to get his actual the date that he had into the VAERS system. At the time, I was living in rural North Carolina, and I could not get any doctor there to, even though I did research VAERS, which is the Vaccine Adverse Event Reporting System, none of these doctors would put into the VAERS database that my son was possibly autistic from the MMR. And during this time when he had his, which was in 1991, the FDA had authorized 200 micrograms of thimerosal, which is ethyl mercury, to be placed in these vaccines as a preservative. And that's, people don't understand. They just say, you're an anti-vaxxer. No, I am not. At the point when my child had the MMR, he was receiving the maximum dose that had ever been placed into a vaccine as a preservative. And of course, I've never had a flu shot. After I survived Guillain-Barré, I've never had any vaccine. But unfortunately, my doctors convinced me to vaccinate my son. And I think it did play a role later on in life with his autism was more along the lines of Asperger's syndrome, which is they're higher functioning. He was in college. He was a brilliant boy, and but he had been bullied a lot, and he died by suicide in 2014. And I do think that it was because I still have the home movies proving that my son was developing normally. He had normal fine motor skill development, normal gross motor skill development. He had perfect eye contact and language development. And then after he took that, within 2 months, he was self-stimulating by banging his head on the floor, and there was no response to this child.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a touching story. We're starting to see a lot of that come out even today with the vaccines, with the COVID vaccines, a lot of stuff behind the scenes that, even mainstream is not even touching on.
Absolutely.
I'm sure they know that, Vanessa. I'm sure they know the side effects, the extreme fatal side effects that can be coming along with that. But, it's very sad to even see, all of that, the way they're pushing these vaccines and the way they're trying to, I've said it many times on the show, shove it down people's throats.
Absolutely.
It went from, but we're kind of like in the middle right now. And, with this whole vaccine stuff, that we've kind of reached a point right now with a new agenda now, it seems, where they went from, stick the needle in the arm to the abortion.
Right.
Yeah. It's, but back to the vaccines. I mean, it's sad. It really is that, you have a government that's pushing this still, now going into almost 4 years, right? 3.5, 4 years of this pandemic, I call it.
That's exactly what it is. This is all by design. When this came out, when they were showing those videos of the people in Wuhan, China, dropping over dead, I told everyone that I knew, I said, look, this is a bioweapon of cataclysmic proportions. I said, I went and bought N95 masks at Lowe's in January of 2020 because I didn't know if it was going to be the hemorrhagic version or if it was going to viral. I try, and of course I've always been mocked. I've always been bullied. I've always been laughed at. I've tried. I mean, I tried to tell my family. I took them all N95 masks, and they looked at me like, "What are you doing? What are these?" And I said, "Look, we don't know what this is. We don't know if it's going to be really fast spreading. We don't know. Please, this is a bioweapon." And as usual, I just got laughed at.
That's what you're usually going to get. You're going to get laughed at and everything. First, folks, I do want to announce to the listeners and viewers, I usually am a little bit more, energetic, but, just hearing this story here from Vanessa kind of struck a personal nerve on my side, just hearing it, Vanessa. It's very, hearing about your son and, the rest of your family that they had to, go through, in the early 90s. It's very sad, to go through that. And like I said, I do apologize. I'm normally a little bit more ecstatic on the show, as you can probably heard in other past episodes. I like having fun and, and stuff like that. But when you hear stuff like this, from actual people, whether they're guests or listeners that tune into the show, they give their true, story, their testimony here on the show, live on the show. I mean, it's stuff that you have to wonder, people, not just yourself, Vanessa, but people all over the country for that matter, are going through the same stuff, the same scenario. And, you have to wonder, does mainstream actually care? Does Big Pharma care? Does Big Joey, in the White House care? No, they don't care. If they care, they would stop this garbage.
Absolutely.
Stop it.
Absolutely. This is about, I feel like the vaccine initiative has been used to possibly, and I don't have any proof of this, but I think it is affecting mental development, possibly maybe some physical development in these young kids. There are now 72 jabs that one must take before age 18.
Oh, wow.
72. And that doesn't include all the COVID jab. This was prior to these bioweapon injections. I'm just going to call it what it is.
Go ahead and call it. I'm sure we're going to get fact checked, shadow banned off of YouTube. I could see YouTube polling this damn podcast episode right now. They're probably polling it. The sickos in San Francisco. They're San Francisco, I call it. I have to quote the great Dr. Michael Savage for saying that, because they're the San Franciscos of San Francisco. The little basement checkers, they have to stay in the basements. They probably are college kids that are trying to do it for an extra buck or $1, to pay for tuition. We've seen that come out of Joe Biden the other day. What was it, last week or 2 weeks ago, with this stupid lady from TikTok. I guess maybe she's trying to make a name for herself. She's having that, that week fame. After a week, they're going to forget about who the hell she is.
Oh,
but,
absolutely.
In
the end, you got to remember, these people always devour their own. They always devour their own in the end. And we're watching these people get injected. They're having heart attacks, blood clots, strokes, Bell's palsy, all of these different conditions, some of them fatal. And they're, of course, we can't discuss that. We can't discuss it. But these people that have concocted these death shots, they are actually devouring and killing and maiming their own.
And, when people like yourself or myself here, when we actually speak up, not just to, speak up to start an argument, but, speak up because we're seeing it firsthand. We're labeled as a conspiracy theorist. We're labeled as, a crazy woman or a crazy man. Oh, you're crazy. What the hell are you talking about? They're not suffering blood clots. They're not suffering massive strokes and this and that. You see it firsthand. But when you see it firsthand.
On the J&J, they put a pause on the J&J shot last week. The FDA did. Or they put a limit. They called it a limit to this particular vaccine for a time because of blood clots. That's not me. That's not conspiracy. You can Google that.
Yeah. I've had several times. I mean, I've seen it firsthand. I've seen people that I actually know, which I won't label on the show for privacy issues because I don't want to put them out there. But I've seen people go into pharmacies such as Walgreens and CVS and, even Walmart. And, I live in the state of Georgia, so Publix, right? And they go into these pharmacies and they're like, we need to see the medical insert. And the doctor looks at them and they're like, well, what do you mean? Every script, whether it's a vaccine, whether it's a regular prescription out of a bottle, has a medical insert.
Absolutely.
They have to provide that by the federal government. The government has to provide that, right? The DEA, they have to put that in there. Okay.
Informed consent.
Yeah.
You,
So
that's
when
part
they
of,
open, yeah, Vanessa, when they open up the script, right, for the medical insert, these scripts are blank, literally
right.
blank. There's nothing on them.
And they
Now, if
get
there's
away with
nothing
that
on them,
because of the emergency use authorization. Because this is emergency use authorization, they do not have to provide any of the informed consent.
how the hell did that get passed? That's what I'm trying to say.
I don't know. I do not know. I don't understand. I had a doctor who coerced me and to he used coercive tactics to try to get me to take this jab, even though I have a history of blood clots. I have a congenital hereditary blood clotting disorder. I have already lived through a pulmonary embolism when I was 33 years old.
Oh,
There
wow.
is, if I took a shot like this, I wouldn't make it out of the parking lot alive. And
I mean, you're high risk. You're considered high risk. Yeah.
absolutely. Plus, I had Guillain-Barré, and another doctor whom I've seen for the last 27 years, he said that the fact that you survived Guillain-Barré, that completely prevents you from being vaccinated for any kind of vaccine.
No.
But I also learned that all of these primary care doctors, internal medicine doctors, whomever recommends the vaccine, they receive a bonus for however I don't know what it is, but it's per 100 recipients that they get to receive this jab. They get a bonus.
Jeez. Yeah, the hospitals are getting paid out. There are a bunch of bailouts going on, in the pharmaceutical world.
Absolutely.
I have friends that are in just about every type of industry, right? I have some friends that are in the trucking industry, the warehousing industry. I have friends that are in I have friends that are nurses. I mean, all around, I've even have some friends in Hollywood, and they tell me, like, we had to get the jab. It was either get the jab or get fired. I'm like, they can't do that. Constitutionally, they cannot do that. You cannot be forced to take a vaccine, whether it's an experimental drug or if it's any type of medicine. You cannot force an employee to take that in order to retain their employment with that company.
Absolutely. And I just found out last night, I can't remember whom I was listening to, but pilots who have an official pilot's license, I'm sure it could be, commercial or just, they are not allowed, and it's specifically stated in their physical form, they are not allowed or permitted to be a part of any experimental medical procedure. This is considered an experiment until they get done with the experiment. I think it's in June of 2023 when this rollout stops of, operation.
Yeah, there was a segment on the other day on News. I think it was Newsmax or Newsweek. Newsmax, the same company, just about anyway. Where Dr. Savage, Michael Savage, joined the telecast, and they were talking about vaccines. They were talking about everything from vaccines to masks to everything. And there was a point where the man there on I forgot his name, but he's on Newsmax. Grant, that's his name, Grant. Grant had asked Michael Savage, Michael, who do you think is in charge of all this?
Right.
And Michael Savage was like, well, it's not Joe.
No.
Or it's not a man. It's Big Sis. I think Big Sis is running the operation. We don't know who she is. We haven't been introduced to her yet. But we got a sound clip here. We're going to plug into the show. Check this out, guys.
Let's discuss with Michael Savage, host of the Michael Savage podcast and a National Radio Hall of Famer and author of Our Fight for America, The War Continues. Dr. Savage, great to see you tonight, my friend. So during his testimony, Mayorkas claimed he wasn't even aware of Jankowicz's past statements. Do you buy that for 1 minute that the DHS secretary didn't know about who he was hiring?
Logan, this is a subject that's near and dear to my heart. Thanks for having me on Newsmax TV. I'm the only American broadcaster banned in Britain for things I said and didn't say. People forget I was the first one canceled. They talk about cancel a comedian. Screw comedians. They're nobodies. How about commentators like myself who can't enter England because they smeared me and made stuff up about me? But forget about me for a minute. This girl, Jankowicz, is the most dangerous creature they've come up with yet out of the swamp. And I'm going to entitle today's show, for me, my part, Logan, something I coined years ago called Big Sis is a Miss. I came up with it years ago during the Obama years as a takeoff on Big Brother. We're not being run by Big Brother. We're being run by Big Sis. And Big Sis is a miss. This Information Governance Board is a left-wing fascistic think tank, is what it is. Let me say this, and I'll be very clear about it to everyone listening. Whatever the number of people are listening, these words should travel throughout the world. The Biden gang is moving our nation backwards into the dark ages. Uncensored speech is being destroyed. The lights are going out. The deprivation of free speech is prevalent under these fascists. This is a cult of lies and a cult of war. The conception of the Biden gang is that the citizen belongs to the state, and tolerating no opinions but their own and feeding on hatred. We must resist the fear of speaking and expressing ourselves, the fear which now darkens the sunlight of freedom in America. I don't believe a word that Mayorkas said. This whole group was created for one reason, which was to intimidate people into speaking out against the hordes of illegal aliens that they're bringing into America. And I'll call them what they are, hordes of illegal aliens. It's an army largely of single men, an army being swamped into America. And Logan, let me conclude this little diatribe with the following. No nation on earth has ever had its demographic changed without losing a war. We are being conquered from within by this gang called the Biden gang. We heard of the Biden.
That was Logan. I had the name correct. Usually Grant is the one that actually interviews Savage there on the show, but it was actually Logan. But Dr. Savage is right. Big Sis, right? I think is running the show. Well, I haven't met her yet, but I think she's running the show.
Well, years ago, I used to listen to Savage when he was on our local talk radio here. And he always spoke of the enemy within, the enemy within. I mean, he was borders, language, and culture. And I think back to him a lot, and he would speak about, read all of Orwell's books. He advised us to read, and of course I've read 1984, which, oh gosh, I don't think I could read it now. I don't think I could read it now, but yeah. He always talked a lot about the Council on Foreign Relations. I think they're a big component to the decimation. I'll just call it the desecration of the United States. We are watching our sovereignty and our country be dismantled one piece at a time, and it's on steroids now. It's
on steroids. Yeah, I mean, the country's melting down. I mean, it's becoming the melting pot. No, folks, not the great restaurant, because I love that restaurant, the Melting Pot. No, our country is becoming a melting pot of illegal immigration. A country that's being decimated not from a foreign enemy, but from a domestic enemy, the enemy within, right?
Absolutely.
We were warned about this, Jessica, months and months and months before Biden took office by the Trump administration. Warned us that if Biden takes office, you will see historic highs in inflation, gas, grocery bills to prices that you cannot even imagine, open borders, and everything else that comes along with the price tag. We are seeing right now, Jessica, a country being destroyed by its own government. And Joe Biden, literally, like I've said many, many times on this show, Jessica, the elevator does not go up to the top floor with this guy.
No,
It stops like literally on the second, maybe if he's lucky.
no, he doesn't know. He doesn't realize where he is. He probably doesn't even know that he actually lives in Delaware. The White House is empty. If you really do some digging, the White House is not occupied. He doesn't even.
Oh, no. You can't say that. Like YouTube, Facebook, they'll rip it down for misinformation or something like that. But I completely understand. There's been a lot of rumors, like with the big promoter there, the big production company just south of us in over near the old fort there in South Atlanta, right?
Right.
There's a huge production company under Tyler Perry, right? Tyler Perry has a huge production company that actually has a White House replica. I'm not making this up. You can actually check it out. At the same scale, the same size of the White House, right there on Tyler Perry production studios.
Apologize, I got a call. Sorry.
Oh, you're fine. But yeah, I don't know if you've heard that last part, but literally, that's where the replica of the White House is, right there on Tyler Perry production studios in South Atlanta.
I've actually seen that. I have seen that.
And I mean, I drive past the area all the time for other stuff, related to the podcast, for some material and stuff that we add into the show. I have a good friend that owns a studio out that way. And every single time when you go out that way, there's always heavy security near the production studios. And I'm like, why the hell would they need? Well, maybe, a big time movie star coming in or something. They're filming another Dwayne "The Rock" Johnson movie or Sylvester Stallone movie or something, because Atlanta's becoming the mini Hollywood of the country. But right. I mean, there's always security members there. And I'm wondering, why is there security members there? Something's up and they're not telling us.
Right. Have you ever watched Monkey Works on YouTube?
I've seen bits and pieces of it. Yeah.
Well, not every episode, but oftentimes he actually does track the president and vice president and their travels. And I remember one time, it's been probably a year ago, but I think, yeah, he went to, I guess it would be Hartsfield, Atlanta Airport. Yeah.
Right.
Sure. And I kind of laughed it off. If you know, you know.
Yeah, I've seen bits and pieces of it. I even checked out the latest, which is doing tremendous, both on the book scale and also the film as well. 2,000 Mules, which I'll give them a free plug in here on the show. Great book, great film. If you haven't seen it, it's surfacing.
I have not seen it yet.
Great documentary on exactly what went down in major cities such as Atlanta. What was Wisconsin, right? All over.
Yeah, Pennsylvania, Wisconsin, Arizona, I think.
Yeah, all the key battleground states, except for Florida. They didn't really give a shit about Florida, but it's just. Yeah,
they're not. Yeah, I mean, I don't think there's any way that he could have won Florida.
Oh no. Ron DeSantis was literally, guarding the damn state like it was on life support or something. Like, no. You want to do that shit in Georgia? You could do the shit in Georgia, but you can't do it here in Florida because we actually have conservative values in the state. Yeah,
I've even thought about asking Governor DeSantis if I could seek political asylum in Florida.
Right? You never know. But Vanessa, hold that thought. I got to get a quick break in here from one of our sponsors. Guys, we got Vanessa here joining us, a huge conservative advocate, and even a singer to her label as well. Guys, we'll be right back after these short words. Don't go anywhere.
Wait. If it was delivered with Uber Eats, does that mean I can eat it?
It says eat.
It's a diaper.
This tastes bad.
This candle tastes funny.
I couldn't eat it.
Not bad, but funny.
And thanks to Uber Eats, we don't even know what food is anymore.
This isn't food.
We can't eat most of this.
Yeah, we can't eat any of this.
Why, Uber Eats? Why, Uber Eats?
That bag's a liar.
Yeah, I just got so excited.
The fake news, big tech, and blue state liberals stole the election from President Trump. But here in Alabama, we're making sure that never happens. We have not and will not send absentee ballots to everyone and their brother. We banned corrupt curbside voting, and our results will always be audited. I'm KIV. The left is probably offended. So be it. As long as I'm governor, we're going to protect your vote.
Alrighty, guys, we got back here on the show here. Jessica, welcome back to the show, Jessica. I want to get into this latest this article here with Biden. Now, our friends over across the pond, right, which have been making hilarious memes of their broadcasting there in Great Britain, have you seen that coming out of Sky News just the other day? Where is Joe Biden, right? Is Joe Biden here? Is he on planet Earth? Is he on another Earth that we don't know about? He's shaking hands with freaking ghosts. He's saluting flags that are not even there. I mean, it's gotten worse. I mean, he's past stage 1 dementia. He's on like stage 2, I think, you know?
I don't think he could pass the cognitive examination.
No, I don't think so either. I think they're afraid that if they do give it to him, that Congress would literally have to not even invoke the 25th, but automatically remove him from office for the sake of the American spirit. I mean, that's what it comes down to.
Absolutely.
But here, check this video out here with Sky News, literally saying Joe's brain appears not to be there.
Let's check in with the leader of the free world, whose brain appeared to break again. In the past week, the president seemed to struggle when talking about all sorts of things, including what his administration was doing about Russia.
We're going to seize their yachts, their luxury homes, and other ill-begotten gains of Putin's kleptocracy. Kleptocracy and the guys who are the kleptocracies. But these are bad guys. This legislative package strengthens our law enforcement capabilities.
I got to stop it right there. I know she was about to laugh, but you like at the end, he's like, I mean,
but this has become a national security issue, don't you think?
Oh yeah, by far, yeah.
I mean, I cannot imagine this ever happening in the United States.
No. Can you imagine if it was Donald Trump, they would be like saying, oh, he's unfit. We should remove him.
Oh,
right?
even the Republicans would demand his removal.
Oh, sure. You would have Ted Cruz bawling out there in Texas saying he was good in the beginning, but he has to be removed,
But I guess they figure that Kamala, I don't know how I'm sorry. I don't know how to pronounce it.
We have a word for on the show, but we can't say it. Even myself as an unfiltered podcast host, I really can't say it. So, I do have a word, but it's not the best of words, but
I think I know the word you're speaking of.
Yes. But college words.
She would go in and I mean, I think if she went in, we would go straight to a socialist country. I mean, like within a few weeks.
Jessica, I think we're already into a socialist country.
Well, I think we are. I think she would get with that AOC lady and that other, I can't think of the.
Omar.
Right. I think I think they
Omar and the bartender from Queens. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah. That lady. I think that they would just really put this into overdrive. You would see, and thinking of that along those lines, I hope your audience are aware that on May 22nd, 194 countries will gather at World Health Organization and vote to strip our sovereignty.
That's something new. That is absolutely something new. I have not yet heard that.
Okay,
may I ask where you heard that from?
Oh, it's part of their agenda. They will be meeting May 22nd through May 28th. There is 194 countries. We are sending that Tulsi Gabbard and Dan Crenshaw, is it?
Dan Crenshaw, the one with the eye patch. Yes.
Yeah.
He's a former SEAL, a former Navy SEAL. Yeah.
Okay, there's no one in mainstream media is talking about this, but what this actually does, this is a meeting to, under a pandemic or a worldwide health emergency, the World Health Organization will have the power to come into your country and strip your country of all sovereignty, all of each constitution related to every country. They will be able to enforce forced vaccinations, masking, social distancing, lockdowns. This is a very, very,
I have one question. Yeah, I have one question. A person like me that is not vaccinated, I'm not vaccinated. I refuse to get the poisonous jab. I'm not putting some crap in my body. God rest my mother's soul that not believed in vaccinations. I did get my chicken pox, of course, like that. But my mother, she would be proud of me, I think, for not getting this crap, and I come from a society a generation where we were taught with basic morals, principles, and beliefs. Now, I have a question. Here's my question. You're talking about the WHO, right? The World Health Organization.
Absolutely.
When they come into this country that, they're claiming that they're going to do strip our sovereignties, our liberties, and our freedoms. If that comes into play and I choose not to comply with their tyrant ways, what happens to me? Do I get sent to like Gitmo or some kind of prison or something?
Well, I think that's when you will see the United
Nations. Hold on. I don't mean to cut you off, but I'm just speaking for myself. I'm also speaking for probably thousands upon yet not millions of Americans that would choose not to do this. So what would happen? Would our country go into war?
Right. I think that we will, and I hope this doesn't get you taken off. I think we will be forced into FEMA re-education camps. We will be given a class, and they will say, "Are you going to take it? Or are you not?" And that's when, basically, you'll stay there until you are forced to take it.
You do make a good point that, we're seeing a lot of a genocide type of scenario get played out. And, you're kind of referring something that happened back when Adolf Hitler would place the Jews in these concentration camps. I think it's going to be what you're kind of mentioning. It's going to be more of a modern concentration camp, but more of a FEMA type of thing, right? It's going to be more, like, get the jab now. If you do not comply, you will be forced to prison.
Absolutely. They're going to use this, and I hate to scare people, but I do think that they have other bioweapons that they will release in the United States to force more compliance with whatever that may be.
Yeah.
The ultimate goal is to complete the Great Reset.
Yeah.
And you will own nothing and be happy.
Right. What happened to the American dream, right? You come to this country, you try to achieve greatness, success.
Absolutely. But people don't understand. If I don't know, maybe God allowed me to be on your podcast, but please, God, please go research this World Economic Forum sovereignty that they're trying to strip. I'm not sure exactly how they're marketing it, but 194 countries have signed on to this, and they're going to vote on it between May 22nd and May 28th in Geneva, Switzerland. Please call your congressman or do. That's what I did. I sent an email. I didn't.
We had a gentleman on this show here just a few weeks ago, actually, a really, really intelligent man, happened to serve under George W. Bush, Barack Obama as a CIA intelligence agency agent. And he had gotten into a lot of that, that deep state amok of what you're referring to right now on the show. Right. And he had said the same thing, this is not, some type of scare tactic. It's going to happen. We have to come together. We have to, when we have general elections and we have special runoff primaries, we have to look at that candidate to see what they're going to provide for the American people. Vote for somebody, who cares if they send mean tweets at 3:00 in the morning Absolutely. Or something like that, vote for the person that has a backbone that sticks up for the American people. And I think we learned our lesson, Vanessa, this last election. I hope we have.
But President Trump removed us from the World Health Organization.
Yeah.
And this president put us back in with them.
Yeah. Biden is restoring everything that Obama had in place during his administration. He's bringing back catch and release. He's opening the borders. You have tons of American taxpayer steel that's sitting right now on the southern border, rusting away. I'm talking about millions upon millions, almost billions of dollars of material just sitting there rusting away. Vanessa, we only had less than 30 miles to complete. That's less than 2 months. It would have been done a year and a half ago, 2 years ago.
This is, I'm speechless. I do not know the America that I live in today. I don't know. I feel like I don't have a home.
Well, have you seen The View? This is their America. Check it out.
President Biden ordered that federal flags would be lowered to half-staff to honor the 1 million Americans lost to COVID. We're more than 2 years into the pandemic. Cases are on the rise again nationwide, and a lot of people are done playing nice, like my friend Patty LaPalme. She has gone viral for an unscripted moment with an audience member who didn't do what they were supposed to do the way they were supposed to do it. Take a look.
Put your mask over your nose. That's why you're in the theater. That is the rule. If you don't want to follow the rule, get the down. What do you think you are if you do not respect the people that are sitting around you?
You're going to the theater. Put the mask over your nose. You don't want to infect the people on the stage.
Oh, shut up, Whoopi. Shut the hell up. You don't want to offend the people on stage. Put the mask over your face. How about you put the fucking mask over your face that's sitting on the damn stage? Stop being a freaking hypocrite. Sorry, Jessica, I get a little heated on the show, unfiltered. I don't put unfiltered there just because it looks nice and everything. But
I call them the Branch Covidians.
The what?
They're the Branch Covidians. This is a cult. They are worshiping their cult, which is COVID and the injection. That it's a cult.
Yeah, it is a cult. It is a cult. We got a comment coming in here off the blog section coming in here from Great Britain. Thank you very much for tuning into the Across the Pond. Thank you for showing your support. American politics is hijacked by a domestic weapon, and we all know what that weapon is. I completely agree with you. What's your name? Dennis? Eric, what's his name? Okay, Derek. I got Eric in my earpiece here. He's telling me, yeah. So we got Dennis, right? Dennis out of where the hell is he from? Great Britain, saying that the domestic poison, and he's going into it. I'm sorry, I can't plug it all the way in. He's typing away here, but I agree. I agree. We have a domestic problem here, and it's on 1600 Pennsylvania Avenue. You know?
Absolutely.
We have to look at this next general election seriously. We have to look at the midterms seriously. The midterms are right around the corner.
But I don't think I think that they are already, if you look at the propaganda, they are already setting the stage to prevent the midterm elections from happening.
Yeah.
These elections, I do not think they will happen. They're already claiming that COVID cases are spiking, and you can extract as many COVID cases as long as you're using a false PCR test. So they are coming up with the cases, but it's not necessarily factual cases.
No, so, it's all propaganda of what they want you to see and hear. They are leaving out bits and pieces of stuff like that. It's all a distraction, Vanessa, all a distraction. You see what's going on right now with the Roe versus Wade scenario, right? They're not talking too much. COVID is still in the clouds, folks. It really is. You know, it's like, you know, you ever played at Super Mario Brothers? You go to reach like a mushroom or something. It's still in the clouds. You can reach it down and actually grab it, right? They still talk about it from time to time. But the distraction, they want to distract of what's really going on. What they should be saying is the Hunter Biden. Hold on. What they should be saying is the Hunter Biden, right? Hillary Clinton. But they're distracting you from knowing that by saying the Roe versus Wade, like they say it like it's all new. The shit's been going on since the 70s. Come on, folks. Wake up and smell the coffee, right? And if it's not Roe versus Wade, they're talking about Johnny Depp. Those are the two talking points as distraction points of what they don't want you to know.
And if you think about it, this is a reflection of a dumbed down educational system. If you have got most of the populace that is only interested in basically two propaganda issues, and they're not willing to even think about anything else that you know might need some attention or at least, you know, a little bit of research, such as being jabbed with something that you don't know what's in it. I mean, the population has been dumbed down to the point that they were able to do this, to deploy this bioweapon upon us, and I think of what they've done to our military. It's covered up. It's being covered up. The military has suffered so many heart attacks. These young, healthy. I mean, their heart attacks, according to DMED, is up 3,300% of our military. They're decimating our military. This is all by design.
It's terrible. It's such a great country that America truly is. You know, the land of the free, the brave. I mean, it's basically becoming the land of misfit toys, right? I mean, pretty much. I mean, the old, you know, Christmas 1970s cartoon, right? The land of misfit toys. I mean, that's what America's becoming. It's becoming a cesspool of the world, you know, and it's terrible that we've become a nation like this. Vanessa, we are allowing it to happen. That's the sadness of it, you know?
Right. I don't know what direction we could go to try to right the sinking ship. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know either. I'm sorry. I cut off a lot of people. Sometimes it's my New York demeanor in me. A lot of people call me a young Michael Savage, but I take that as a compliment. You know, maybe I could fill his shoes one day. That'd be amazing. But I mean, you know, what we have to do is we have to look at the next 2 years with serious eyes. And I mean serious eyes. Okay. We have to, you know, cut this mail-in ballot bullshit, because it is. It's bullshit. And by the way, that's what separates me from Savage, is I actually get a little more savage on the show, you know. But I mean, we have to cut the BS out, right? We have to, you know, come on, guys. It's a virus. It's bacteria. I mean, wash your hands. I mean, you're a grown woman, grown man, for Christ's sakes. You need somebody to tell you how to wash your hands for 20 seconds with soap. And I seen that 2 years ago. I was looking at myself. I'm like, Jesus, what the hell is wrong with these people? We're gonna become the bubble boy from that movie from the early 80s, early 90s, when he had to walk around town in a bubble. I mean, come on.
But that's what they want, because as long as you're in fear, you're easily controlled and manipulated.
Yeah, you notice how a lot of companies are dropping the mask mandate, right? Walmart,
Right.
Amazon, all the big box giants. The public transportation is dropping it, right? Trains, mass transit, buses. The only one that has not dropped it is airline industry, right? The airline companies.
Right.
I don't know why. I don't know. Maybe the air quality is different, 35,000 miles above the ground. I don't know.
I don't think so. I think they're still working on their facial recognition technology, and I think they needed everybody masked up and burqa'd up or whatever to make sure that technology is just on point and within the allotted time that they needed to perfect that.
Yeah, they got to perfect something. But Vanessa, we're going to close it out here.
There's a lot of data that they have used. They extracted all kinds of physical data of what the human body could withstand with this type of poison. They've extracted all kinds of mental health types. They've extracted a lot of it.
We got a couple minutes here left in the show. So yeah, we got a couple minutes left in the show. So I want to say this because we're running low on time. But you mentioned mental health, right? Look what it's doing to the kids. The kids, they're destroyed. They don't know what to think anymore. With the mask, they got to put mask on. If they're not teaching about masks, they're teaching about stupid critical race theory. They're teaching 5-year-old kids that it's okay to be transgender. Who teaches that crap?
A sick society.
I'm glad that my daughter, I have a 15-year-old daughter, right? I'm glad she's now 15, because if she was 5 and 6 years old and they were teaching her that, I would be on the phone with the damn superintendent, and I would be like, if you continue talking about this in the classroom with my daughter, I will remove my daughter for my own personal safety, and I'll homeschool my daughter if I have to.
I think that parents should, at this point in time, I think you should pull your kids out of public school. My chance.
What's that?
I think if I don't have any school age kids, but please pull your kids out of these indoctrination centers.
It's indoctrination. It's complete garbage of what they're teaching them. They're teaching them about Black Lives Matter agenda type of crap. Like, Dr. Martin Luther King, what he really was saying was, and they didn't really say, no, he really said that, I mean, I have a dream, I wouldn't say that now, because if you say you have a dream, something might happen, but I mean, the 60s and the 2020s are a lot different, so, I mean, yeah, I totally agree. Vanessa, it's been an honor having you on.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's been great, hearing your vision of politics on your end.
Well, thank you so much for inviting me. I've thoroughly enjoyed it.
You're welcome. Look out for the Rumble link. It should be encoded in the next, possibly the next 20 minutes. I know Rumble sometimes is a delay because they have to encode it, and they put a lot more into their video packaging than YouTube does. But yeah, look out for it on Rumble, and look also too, if you don't see it on Rumble, check out the website, patriotanglepodcast.com. Which is actually streaming live on the website, and we're obviously streaming live on Facebook and ScrewTube. YouTube. So yeah.
I wish you the best, and I will be pulling for you to become the next Dr. Savage
or the next Joe Rogan, God willing, right? God,
absolutely.
Thank you very much, Vanessa. It's been an honor. Thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Patriot Unfiltered. You just heard an episode of the Patriot Angle Podcast, an unfiltered Patriot Productions. Please follow us on Facebook at the Patriot Angle Podcast and Instagram at Patriot_Angle_unfiltered. Also, you can hear every episode on Amazon Music, Audible, Spotify, Google, and Apple Podcasts. You can also check out our website, patriotanglepodcast.com, and also our unfiltered merchandise, patriotunfiltered.com. Thanks for tuning in, and we will see you on the next one.